Dr. Alexis Artwhohl. I'm a retired clinical and police psychologist specializing in trauma. I'm still doing training with law enforcement and with citizens on some of the psychological and emotional issues involved with use of deadly force and the implications for your physical, legal, and emotional survival. And today we're going to be talking about a variety of issues that can impact your survival in those three areas. What I'd like to do now is address some of the issues involved in dealing with some of the legal aftermath. The most important thing, obviously, is to recognize that the minute that you are forced to defend yourself, you have put yourself at legal risk. Even though it's not your fault, it just comes with the territory. And it certainly is better to survive an attack and then deal with it afterwards than to become a victim. But we just need to face reality that once we've been forced to use violence to defend ourselves, we potentially will be prosecuted for a felony crime. I tell folks, if you decide to carry a firearm and God forbid you ever have to use that thing, more power to you that you were able to use it to defend yourself or someone that you love, but be prepared potentially to go to jail. I mean, it just comes with the territory. So let's talk about some of the legal issues involved. The legal aftermath will be complex, can be very, very intense. No matter how justified you were in your behavior, you put yourself at risk. You should not attempt to navigate this by yourself. It's like trying to treat yourself for cancer. If you come down with cancer, please go see a cancer specialist. If you have been forced to engage in a felony crime to protect and defend yourself, please get an attorney to walk you through that process. It's really a fool's errand to try to deal with the criminal justice system by yourself. The most important thing is to have legal help lined up ahead of time, that you have a number to call so that you're not having to make those decisions yourself. In terms of at the scene, when the first responders show up, hopefully you have gotten good training that will help you cooperate with the first responders in such a way that you're not putting yourself at risk from them. Because you've got to keep in mind when the first responders show up, they don't know what's what. They don't know who the victim is, they don't know who the offender is, they don't know who you are. Hopefully you've been talking to 911, the officers may have some information, but all too often 911 information isn't entirely accurate. So the officers can't count on, just because you told 911 something, that automatically they can count, oh yeah, that's going to be the absolute truth when I actually show up on the scene. So the officers are going to be very cautious. They're going to be very concerned for their safety, for the safety of bystanders. So hopefully you've gotten very good training that you know how to interact with the first responders, how to secure your weapon, how to make sure the first responders know you are not a threat. And I won't talk about those issues here, that's beyond my purview, but make sure that you have that training, that you know exactly how to interact with those first responders. And you are going to be in a state of heightened emotional reactions. Be very careful what you say, because you are now on stage. Everything you do, everything you don't do, everything you say, your facial expressions, all your gestures, all your behavior, they're going to be grist for the mill for the criminal justice system. They will be observed by bystanders. They will be observed by the first responders who will put it in their reports. There may well be people videotaping you. So you need to be rehearsing and preparing in your mind how you're going to behave in the immediate aftermath, just like you're doing when you're on the range or in a self-defense class, preparing yourself how you're going to deal with the actual attack. So you really need to be able to focus on, once the fight is over and you are safe, you need to really have prepared yourself on how to start calming yourself down right away and to behave in a reasonably calm and manner that will not cause suspicion or concern on the part of bystanders or officers who may think that you could be a threat. So that's very, very important to do. The ability to get control over your emotional intensity, it's a vital survival skill in our daily life. Count to 10, engage brain before you open your mouth. I mean, all of us in our life have gotten into trouble, big or small, because we got wound up over something and we got mad and we did things that later on we regretted. The vast majority of the time, it's relatively harmless. We just embarrass ourselves. We have to apologize to somebody. But in this kind of a situation, it can get you into real serious trouble. So the ability to enhance your maturity and your ability to gain emotional control and react in a disciplined way in the immediate aftermath of one of these extreme events is important. Not just important in a self-defense situation. Let's say that you've been in a car wreck and you now have to deal with the aftermath. Maybe you need to get a family member out of the car. Being able to get your act together, stay calm, stay focused on the task at hand, and deal with the dangerous aftermath is critical. You don't want to be out of control and running around and doing things that are counterproductive. When the officers show up at the scene, they naturally are going to want to know what happened. And this is where you need to be making, it's not my decision to make or anybody's decision to make, this is your decision to make what and how much you're going to tell the first responders. I'm not going to give you any advice, just be aware that that's going to be on you. What I would tell you is that if you do decide to interact with the criminal justice system, I would strongly encourage you to never give a full, formal, detailed, taped interview. If you choose to do that, and that is, you don't have to, but if you choose to do that, right after the event is not the time to do it. If you decide that you want to give information to the first responders, keep it extremely brief. And before you give a full statement, obviously you want to be talking with your attorney. I would encourage you to get 1 or 2 sleep cycles, because we know that sleep helps you consolidate learning and memory. So that once you've had a chance to sleep on it, once you've had a chance to calm down, research shows that eyewitnesses to an event who feel calm and rested during the time of an interview are likely to give a better, more accurate interview than people who are exhausted, who are stressed out, who are highly anxious, which are probably going to be in the immediate aftermath. It's just really not the ideal time to do that. This is where you and your attorney will be working as a team to help decide when, how, and whether you're going to give statements. But I would encourage you to, if you do decide to talk to the first responders right after the event, keep it very brief.